This is the QTV Nightly News and I am Loliam Kamara. Thank you for joining us. And you can also join us on Q Radio. Here are the headlines. As Gambians join Muslims worldwide in observing Ashura, the 10th day of the Islamic calendar's first month. Today, we spoke with Imam Alhaji Usman Jah of Taqwa Mosque about the day's significance. Lawmakers at the National Assembly welcomed the Joint Committee on Health and Genders report after thorough consultations on the National Population Bill 2024. We spoke with historian Hassum Sise about the significance and relevance of the 1972 Manding International Conference held at the School of Oriental and African Studies in London. The Gambia National Commission for UNESCO and partners organized a seminar on intangible cultural heritage to help preserve cultural diversity and protect heritage. In a bid to promote science, technology, engineering and mathematics, STEM Mansa College School, Bojang Senior Secondary School organized STEM and a Business Week to foster innovation and introduce students to career opportunities in STEM and entrepreneurship. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. Thank you for joining us. As Gambians join Muslims worldwide in observing Ashura, the 10th day of Islamic calendar's first month. Today, we engaged Imam Alhaji Usman Jah of Taqwa Mosque to emphasize the importance of observing the day and in its significance of the good deeds in Islam. Mamadou Gajaga tells us more.
Muslims in the Gambia honor the 10th day of Muharram, also known as Tamharit, with prayers, fasting, and acts of charity to commemorate the significance of the day's events. Muslims follow the Hijri calendar, named after the word Hijra, meaning migration, introduced in 632 AD. It marks the journey of Prophet Muhammad and his followers from Mecca to Medina in the 7th century to escape persecution by Meccan pagans. Alhaji Usman Jah, the Imam of Taqwa Mosque, spoke about the significance of Ashura.
Ashura means the 10th of Muharram. And the Sunnah also emphasizes it, because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam used to celebrate it, and he supported those who celebrate it.
According to Imam Jah, Ashura was historically observed by people of other faiths, including Christians and Jews. He explained, citing authentic narration, that when Prophet Muhammad migrated from Mecca to Medina, he found people observing the day. When he asked them why, they replied that they commemorated the day Allah Almighty granted victory to their prophet, Prophet Moses, over his enemies. The prophet then said, "If that is the case, Musa is my brother. We were both sent by Allah to guide mankind, so I too will observe this day."
The way the Prophet Muhammad celebrated it is to keep fast. He kept fast. Then his companions said to him, "But Prophet, even Jews and Christians are keeping fast." He said, "Then if I live until next year, I will fast a day before, that is the 9th day."
When asked about how the day is observed, Imam Jah said the Sunnah is to fast the 9th and the 10th days of Muharram. However, he added that there is nothing wrong with how it is observed in the Gambia, with prayers, charity, and seeking forgiveness.
Making dua, for example, is not Sunnah. It's not something that Prophet Muhammad ordered us to do, but it's not bad to do it. It's acceptable. Likewise, eating good food on this night also is not bad. It's not something that revealed from the Prophet Muhammad to do it, but Islam accepted.
Ashura remains a meaningful occasion for Muslims, serving as a time for reflection and devotion. As Imam Jah emphasized, whether through fasting or acts of charity and prayer, the day's true significance lies in remembering the lessons of faith, perseverance, and compassion that continue to inspire Muslims around the world. Mamudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Lawmakers at the National Assembly recently welcomed the Joint Committee on Health and Gender's report following extensive consultations on the National Population Bill 2024. The bill aims to establish a comprehensive legislative framework to address population and development challenges in the Gambia. Usman Jata reports.
Preliminary data from the 2024 National Census released by the Gambia Bureau of Statistics projects the country's population to exceed approximately 2.5 million. Some experts believe this rising number underscores the urgent need for policies and frameworks that can effectively meet the development demands of a growing population.
Honor and glory.
During the third ordinary session of the 6th Legislature, the National Population Bill 2024 was tabled for its second reading. Lawmakers debated the bill's overall merits and policy objectives before referring it to the Joint Committee on Health, Disaster, Humanitarian Relief, Gender, Children and Social Welfare for in-depth scrutiny and consultation. Fatu Cham, co-chair of the committee, highlighted the significance of the bill in promoting sustainable development through data-driven planning and coordinated population policies.
It seeks to ensure the protection and promotion of the rights of all individuals with a popular emphasis on inclusivity, equity, and the principle of leaving no one behind. Especially, the bill aims to establish a robust legal basis for the formulation, implementation, coordination, monitoring, and evaluation of population and development programs in the Gambia.
The committee conducted a comprehensive cross-referencing exercise to ensure that the bill aligns with the 1997 Constitution and harmonizes with existing laws and policy frameworks. National Assembly members including Suleiman Jame of Bundunkakunda, Bakari Kora of Upper Fuladu West, and Honorable Lamin Sise for Kiang West expressed strong support for the bill. They emphasize its potential to address critical development issues linked to population growth.
It affects everybody, be it a Gambian and non-Gambian, in as long as you live in the country. So this is why this bill is very, very important, and it will be able to help the government to be able to, at least come up with certain development programs and activities.
Coming up with this legal framework with proper sensitization, at least people will be aware the importance of having a right population, because some of the Gambians, like if you go to their compound head countings, you find it very, very difficult, especially during the last census.
We may think of having them a semi-autonomous institution, if not completely autonomous, so that we can be able to help this institution. Communication with the donors and international community to help them function very well. So it is important we look at the way we operate institutions and their funding. Most of their efficient and effective functioning is attached to funding.
A key feature of the bill is the continued existence and operationalization of the National Population Secretariat, the lead institution responsible for formulating and implementing population-related programs and policies. The bill emphasizes the need to harness demographic opportunities while addressing associated challenges to drive national development. Osman Jata, reporting for QTV News.
This year marks 53 years since the first Manding International Conference took place from June 30th to July 3rd, 1972 at the School of Oriental and African Studies in London. As we commemorate its anniversary, we spoke with historian Hassum Sise about the conference's significance and its relevance today.
The Manding Conference was once a cornerstone event on Africa's cultural calendar, a dedicated space to celebrate the Manding civilization, its languages, and the enduring legacy of the Mali Empire. The Manding language, with its many forms such as Mandinka, Bambara, and Jula, is still spoken across 9 West African countries. But why was the conference so important? Here is Hassum Sise, historian and Director General of the National Center for Arts and Culture.
Now, this was organized by Dr. David Dalby, who was a musicologist at SOAS. Basically, the idea was to celebrate the heritage of the Manding Empire, which in the past covered countries from present-day Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, Guinea-Conakry, Guinea-Bissau, the Gambia, Sierra Leone, Liberia, and even parts of Senegal. Our founding Director General, Alhaji Bakari Sidibe, was tasked by His Excellency President Alhaji Sadauda Kereba Jawara to form a delegation of artists and intellectuals so as to represent the Gambia at the conference.
Mr. Cisse also spoke about Gambia's role in the first Manding conference.
Mr. Sidibe presented 2 scholarly papers on Kabu and also on the Bijini Tariq. It's a very, very important, epic that Mr. Sidibe was able to research, outlining the role of Islam in the old Kabu Empire. Now, the other aspect of Gambia's contribution had to do with the performance of the cultural delegation.
According to Mr. Cisse, although Sadauda Jawara did not attend the conference, he sent a letter that was read aloud. In it, he highlighted that the Manding identity is present across all 8 West African countries and is diverse in terms of ethnicity and religion. The kora, a traditional instrument, was also featured at the conference and was one of the highlights of the event. Here is Mr. Cisse again.
Because of the Manding conference, the kora became more widely known outside the Gambia and West Africa. And because of the Manding conference also, the role of the griots, like Lalo Keba, like Jali Nyama, became more well known to not only the scholarly community, because before 1972, the only people who knew about the griots, were basically the musicologists.
But more than 50 years later, does the conference still serve the purpose it once did? Hasum Cisse explains.
The Manding conference, it was a one-off activity, although very important, but unfortunately, since that time, there have been several attempts to replicate the event, but it has not been as successful as the 1972 edition. Well, largely because of, political instability in the Manding space. Now it is almost impossible to do any kind of, field work, any kind of research in Burkina Faso or in Mali because of instability. Also, at the time, in the early 70s, African studies was getting popular, in the university systems in the West. So there was a lot of zest, to make things, happen. But of course, over the years also, funding, problems have also, led to such conferences become rarer and rarer.
As West Africa looks forward to the future, the story of the Manding civilization and the conference that honored it still holds meaning. The real question, however, is who will carry this work forward? For QTV News, I am Julden Jai.
We are taking a short commercial break. When we return, we will hear how a senior secondary school in Jalambang is exposing students to career opportunities in science, technology, engineering and mathematics fields, and about Guinea's new controversial draft constitution proposing an extended presidential term. Join us after the break.
At Ajib Bank, we are more than banking. We build bridges that connect you to pivotal services every day. Do you have government bills to pay to the Gambia Revenue Authority, Comfort, KMC, or the Accountant General's Department? We've got you covered. From payment of customs and domestic taxes to GRA, payment of number plate and vehicle ownership transfer to Comfort, payment of property rates and business license fee to KMC, and payment of MR passport, business registration, fishing license, land fees, sale of assets, lease application, development permits, quarrying royalties, gravel and sand, mining royalties, and a host of other revenue lines to the Accountant General's Department. Walk into any of our branches nationwide and make your payments hassle-free. Either in person or online. Simple, secure, and immediate. With Ajib Bank, there is no need to worry about government bill payments for your vehicles, taxes, licenses, business registration, and any other revenue line. Ajib Bank, passionate about your investment. We've got you covered. Ajib Bank, your investment partner.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. .5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket. With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected. Juggle your tasks with ease with QCell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by QCell. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. As part of efforts to preserve cultural diversity and protect heritage, the Gambia National Commission for UNESCO, together with its partners, organized a seminar on intangible cultural heritage. Our Bob attended and see now reports.
Intangible cultural heritage refers to the practices, representations, expressions, knowledge, and skills that communities, groups, and sometimes individuals recognize as part of their cultural heritage. Unlike physical or tangible heritage like buildings or objects, ICH is expressed through traditions, practices, and living expressions. The seminar was an opportunity to provide a comprehensive explanation of the processes, procedures, and significance of enlisting intangible cultural heritage elements. It brought together cultural experts, school children, and other stakeholders to discuss a variety of issues related to culture and heritage. The forum also served as a platform to promote respect, diversity, and inclusion among young people, fostering a deeper appreciation for the Gambia's rich and diverse cultural traditions. Sanabi Jaju, Director of Literature, Performing and Fine Arts at the National Center for Arts and Culture, highlighted the importance of intangible cultural heritage and its role in preserving national identity and fostering cultural continuity.
ICH encompasses the living traditions, expressions, knowledge, and skills passed down from generation to generation. These include our oral traditions, our performing art, social practices, rituals, festivals, traditional craftsmanship, and indigenous knowledge systems.
Bakari Sise from the Regional Education Directorate 1 emphasized the need to integrate cultural heritage education into school curricula to help young learners appreciate and preserve their identity.
Culture defines who we are. In our elementary definition, we say it's a way of life. But your way of life tells who you are. Where we put young people together, especially school-going age, involve them and engage them in the integration of these cultural elements in your education system.
Lamin Jaju, Senior Program Officer at the Gambia National Commission for UNESCO, emphasized that these initiatives support UNESCO's worldwide strategy for cultural preservation and education.
The Gambia began in 2015 what is referred to as the needs assessment for intangible cultural heritage. So upon that needs assessment, it was seen as vital that we kind of curate ICH elements to see that we safeguard them.
Among the participants were Hadi Yaka Jeng and Awa Cham, students from St. Joseph Senior Secondary School.
I think I learned a lot about this event, mostly about my culture, about the Wolof, that is the Manyo Bito, the Sate, the differences we have from the Mandinka, how we do our things.
When we went to Janyambure, I learned about Ngansin Denkilo And Ngansimbondo also, that is the circumcision ceremony, and like traditional foods, that is nyeleng, chere, and how to make them also. You know, before I didn't know how to make them, but now I think I can.
In 2024, the Gambia successfully registered 30 intangible cultural heritage ICH elements on UNESCO's World Register for Intangible Cultural Heritage. This achievement reflects the country's commitment to preserving and promoting its rich cultural traditions. For QTV News, I am Awabov.
The Gambia is stepping up efforts to integrate science, technology, engineering and mathematics STEM into secondary education. As part of this drive, Mansa Kolibojan Senior Secondary School organized a STEM and Business Week aimed at fostering innovation and exposing students to career opportunities in STEM fields and entrepreneurship. Yafatu Gay tells us more.
STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering and mathematics, is crucial in today's world as it equips students with essential skills for modern careers. It promotes problem solving, critical thinking, and creativity, enabling learners to find innovative solutions to real-life challenges. The STEM and Business Week aims to equip students with the skills and knowledge needed for high-demand careers in STEM and entrepreneurship in a rapidly evolving world. Jara Toure, a science student at the school, expressed her enthusiasm for STEM education and shares her aspiration for a future career in the field.
I love STEM too much because it creates many innovative ideas for young, talented children, the youngsters, and other people doing science. So I want to save lots and lots of lives. I want to save lives of people that are sick out there, that do not have treatment and all other stuff out there. I'm very excited that my school has a lab because we can do many different experiments.
In the Gambia and across Africa, STEM education is increasingly recognized as a powerful tool to empower youth, reduce unemployment, and foster technological independence. Schools are rapidly encouraging both boys and girls to pursue career in STEM and technical and vocational education and training TVET, breaking down traditional gender barriers. Reflecting this positive change, aspiring engineering and surgeon Fatoumata Kuyate proudly showcases a drone she has been developing, highlighting her passion for innovation and technology.
This is a drone, and then the materials are very simple. This is a plywood, as you can see. So this is the body of a can, like a can. So this is a DC motor or dynamo. So this is the propeller. So then this is a cable, this is the battery. So we have to fix in our switch, but I'm not yet done. So after fixing in the switch, and then this is the battery. So this is how it will operate. This would fly, and if we put these things there, these are wheels. It will start moving first, like just like aeroplane, and if possible, then it flies.
Edward A. Mendy, a representative from the Ministry of Higher Education, attended the event.
Considering the importance of STEM and entrepreneurship education in national development, I encourage you students to take your studies seriously, to harness the current opportunities and facilities, learning and innovativeness among students.
In a bid to empower and encourage Gambian students to pursue STEM fields and complement government's effort, the Q Group Foundation, a technology-driven organization in partnership with the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, awarded scholarship to 20 students instead of the usual 10 for the 2024-2025 academic year. Innovatives like the STEM and Business Week at Mansa Kolibojan Senior Secondary School is a vital step towards empowering young people, aiming to build a future-ready workforce capable of driving innovation, economic growth, and sustainable development, thereby providing them with the opportunity to contribute meaningfully to the nation's future progress. Reporting for QTV News, this is Yafatu Gay.
Amazing. Coming up next is international news. Guinea's transitional government has unveiled a controversial draft constitution that proposes major changes, including an extended presidential term and new quotas for women in leadership. Aliou Cisse has the details.
The draft constitution, which is set to be voted on in a referendum scheduled for September 2025, extends the presidential term limit from 5 to 7 years with a 2-term limit. The draft document was shared last week with General Mamadi Doumbouya, the leader of the military junta that overthrew President Alpha Condé in 2021. It is seen as a turning point for the country. Beyond the presidency, the draft includes progressive proposals, a 30% quota of women in elected and public office, aimed at boosting gender representation across Guinea's political landscape. There is also a plan to give African languages official status alongside French, a recognition of the country's rich linguistic diversity. However, the draft constitution is silent on whether General Mamadi Doumbouya himself will be eligible to run for president. Initially, following the coup, Doumbouya publicly vowed not to seek the presidency. However, support for his candidacy is growing among key figures aligned with the junta. Several top officials close to the junta have voiced their support for Doumbouya's candidacy, according to AFP news agency. The planned referendum is seen as a crucial step in returning Guinea to constitutional rule. The draft will lay the groundwork for the country's next democratic phase, with electoral reforms aimed at establishing Guinea's governance structure. International observers have called for a clear timeline for Guinea's transition to democracy, making the referendum an essential moment for the country's future. At its last 67th ordinary session in Abuja, ECOWAS leaders welcomed the efforts on the transition plan in Guinea, with the planned referendum and the conduct of presidential and legislative elections by the end of the year. As debate continues and preparation for the referendum intensify, Guineans and the global community alike await the next chapter in the country's post-coup transition. Whether the promises of reform will translate into lasting democratic governance remains to be seen. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Before we end, here's a recap of the headlines. As Gambians join Muslims worldwide in observing Ashura, the 10th day of Islamic calendar's first month, today we spoke with Imam Alhaji Usman Jah of Taqwa Mosque about the day's significance. Lawmakers at the National Assembly welcomed the Joint Committee on Health and Gender's report after thorough consultations on the National Population Bill 2024. We spoke with historian Hassum Cisse about the significance and relevance of the 1972 Manding International Conference held at the School of Oriental and African Studies in London. The Gambia National Commission for UNESCO and partners organized a seminar on intangible cultural heritage to help preserve cultural diversity and protect heritage. In a bid to promote science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM, Mansa Koli Bojan Senior Secondary School organized a STEM and Business Week to foster innovation and introduce students to career opportunities in STEM and entrepreneurship. That's all for this news bulletin. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for another bulletin. Thanks for watching.